Iran's proxies in the Middle East are now threatening the global economy. Attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea are disrupting supply lines and driving up prices.
Well, in northern Gaza, the IDF is going underground to root out remaining terrorists. And Israel is signaling that it's ready for more hostage negotiations. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl brings us the details.
Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant says troops are going into Hamas tunnels in northern Gaza to clean out what remains of the terrorists there.
It's in the north of the Gaza Strip. The activity is focused on the final clearing of the area in Gaza and going underground to in-depth tunnels, where we have found a very large cache of all sorts and significance, which will be revealed to the public.
The IDF says it's uncovered some 1,500 tunnel shafts and underground passages since the beginning of the war, and most of them have been found under schools, hospitals, mosques, and United Nations facilities. The IDF released video of the interrogation of Ahmed Kahalot, director of the Kamal Adwan Hospital in Jabalia. He describes how Hamas uses hospitals for military purposes, has offices, and hides there because they feel it's safe that Israel won't bomb them. But Hamas acted as cowards, he says, leaving the people in the field while they hide. In the south, Gallant says, it will take a long time to clean out the terrorists there.
In the south of the Gaza Strip, Khan Yunis has become the new city of terror. We are operating there, focusing our efforts. There's an action that will take place in various stages. It will take months until we reach our goals.
Meanwhile, President Herzog says Israel is ready for another hostage deal.
Israel is ready for another humanitarian pause and additional humanitarian aid in order to enable the release of hostages. The responsibility lies fully with Sinwar and the leadership of Hamas.
Islamic Jihad released a video showing 2 male hostages. That follows a Hamas video of 3 male hostages the day before, giving hope that the remaining more than 100 hostages, including women and 2 children, are still alive. Meanwhile, Iranian-backed Houthi rebels are ramping up their attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea trade route as nations band together to address the challenge.
I think it's important to put it a little bit in perspective. Some 6 countries border the Red Sea. The Red Sea is a conduit for 10 to 15% of all global trade, 8% of global grain trade, and 12% of global seaborne oil trade. Of this total Red Sea trade, Greek, Chinese, Japanese, and German-owned vessels make up 40 to 50% of transits. All that underscores the dependence that these economies have around the world on the strategic trade.
The route allows ships carrying oil and imported goods from Asia to cut through the Suez Canal, taking weeks off the trip to Europe and saving millions in shipping costs. Some of the world's largest shipping companies have already begun diverting their ships from the area, causing delays and higher prices. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby says there's going to be a lot of naval hardware in the Red Sea to counter the threats.
Bottom line is, these attacks have to stop. They need to stop. They're unacceptable. The United States, our allies and our partners, will do what we have to do to counter these threats and to protect these ships.
Kirby says it's clear that Iran is behind the attacks.
They are certainly providing the means, the tools, the capabilities, the weapons through which the Houthis are conducting these attacks. The Houthis may be pulling the trigger, but as I've said, Iran's giving them the guns.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, Iran is definitely behind these attacks, and they're using proxies to do it because they don't want to involve themselves directly in the war. They're definitely afraid of the retaliation that could come. Is there a coalition forming to protect the Red Sea, to protect the trade route? The answer is yes, but until that becomes absolutely secure, shipping companies they're commercial. They don't have weapons on board these ships. They're absolutely going to divert. Let's talk about these tunnels, because I think we need to underline Iran's behind them too. These tunnels are remarkably sophisticated. When you look at them, it's obvious that there was bore drilling equipment involved. You can drive vehicles through these tunnels. These aren't some kind of hand-dug affairs. These are very sophisticated, with manufactured steel to support the tunnel walls. They got all of that technology from Iran. Now, it's 50 meters below the surface. That is lower. That's 160 feet. The New York subway system isn't that low. It's there for bomb proofing. It's there to make sure that it can survive. And it was done with the full knowledge of the hospitals where the entrances are, the UN facilities where the entrances are. You can't have this kind of bore drilling equipment show up and do its work without everyone around it knowing exactly what's going on. Now, that's a war crime. Underline that when you hear of any war crimes by Israel, what Hamas has constructed here is a very sophisticated network of command and control and distribution underneath Gaza. And they have been specific that the entrances and exits are around hospitals, around schools, around UN relief agencies. These are all war crimes. They're using civilians as cover, civilian buildings as cover for their terrorist activity.